We're going to move from one interactive presentation to another. I have the privilege of introducing our next presenter, Bonnie Zampino. Bonnie is the founder and president of A Special Space, which is a nonprofit organization located in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. When Bonnie became the parent of a child with autism, she began to experience the special challenges that parents with special needs children face at home, school, and at work. She founded A Special Space to help children with developmental disabilities and their families. As Bonnie began to work within the community, she was asked to educate the public about autism. She developed a groundbreaking, revolutionary training that you all will get to experience here today, entitled Experience Autism. Bonnie is a guest writer for Autism Now and currently serves on their National Advisory Committee. She's also been published in Parenting Magazine's Expose I Am 1 in 50 and has been interviewed and quoted in Scholastic's Parent and Child magazine, an article entitled 5 Facts All Parents Need to Know About Autism. I'm very proud to introduce Bonnie Zampino. She is currently also Grafton's grant writer. Please join me in welcoming Bonnie.
I'm not standing up here because that's really scary. So this is really fun. Does everybody have like a bag and you need to like join the crew so you can participate? Do you mind? You get to come sit next to Scott. Like there's nothing better. So I know we have like a really interesting mix of people here. We have educators, teachers, social workers. We have clinicians, like psychologists, that type of thing. What else do we have? Nerds? Okay. I'm sorry? Fabulous. So you all bring, hi, since I picked on you. Okay. So we have a good, interesting mix of people here. So when I do these trainings, I always start with one set of 3 questions, and these should be pretty easy for you guys. So the first is, who's heard of autism? You know, when I started doing this, not everybody raised their hand, which is pretty amazing. So the second question is, who knows someone with autism? And you know, that number has gone up so much in the past 2 years, it's amazing. Last question is, who can tell me what autism is? Really? Okay, that's not unusual. How about tell me some things that you know about it, symptoms, way it looks? Yes? Yeah. Absolutely. Rigid and fixated on special interests. That's perfect. Yes? Absolutely. There's definitely a lack of recognition of social cues. Anybody else? Sensory issues. That's right. You guys got it wrapped up. Yes, ma'am? Communication. And that just hit the nail on the head because that is the DSM-5's basic core definition of what autism is. It's a communication disorder, but it appears as a lot of other things that you guys touched on, which was awesome. So I developed this really for myself. I have a son who has high-functioning autism, and I really wanted to know what it was like to be him. And I had read all the books, and I, gone and talked to all the specialists, but I didn't know what it was like to live in his skin, and I really wanted to. So I started talking to him, which is a really interesting thing, and we don't have time to go into that today, and also talking to other experts, and also other people who have an autism spectrum disorder. And so I put together this presentation called Experience Autism, so that's what we're going to do today, and I have like 30 minutes, so I'm like, so we'll just move through this really quick. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to experience some of the sensory and the motor skill challenges that individuals with autism face. So we know that there's issues with fine motor skills, gross motor skills, you guys kind of aware of that. We also have individuals who have visual distortion, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of people with autism who can't go up the stairs without doing that 1 foot and 1 foot, or they'll miss the curb completely, like, geez, clumsy. So you get to experience that. So what I would like you to do is to open your bags, and inside you're going to find glasses, unless you have goggles exterior, and you're going to have gloves, and you're going to have a piece of paper. Some of you will have beads, and that's fine. Oh, yep, if you've got glasses in your bags already, that's fine. You don't need to use them. Oh, if you have goggles instead of glasses, don't touch the lenses. Does anybody have these? Okay, it's Vaseline. Yeah. Highly toxic petroleum jelly. So if you guys, before you open up your piece of paper, if you could please put on your glasses and your gloves. And then get out your piece of paper and a pen. So here's what you guys are going to do. I would like for you all, when you have your glasses and your gloves on, to look at the overhead, read the information, and then with your paper, I'd like you to take your pen, and I'd like you to answer the questions. So you've got like 3 minutes, and if you could just hurry up and do that, I'm sorry. Are you not going to participate? You'd like to participate? That would be great. The way to participate is open up your paper and get your pen, because I might have to send you to the office if you can't get it together.
We got some non-compliant people over here, Bonnie.
Really? I see people haven't picked up a pen yet. Are you having an issue with your pen? There you go. Good job. So if you want to start with your name, that would be super. Okay. You might want to use the desk, because that's going to make it a little easier for you to write. If you could put your name on the paper. Oh, we'll join on at the very end. I'm also, Jason, I'm noticing a lot of improper grips.
Nope.
Where's the tripod grip? So we might be looking at some occupational therapy for some of you. Now, like this individual, she's really doing a great job. I'm sorry, you took your glasses off? Okay, if you all want to stop, you may. Did anybody actually get their name on the paper? All right, that's pretty impressive. If you would like to take your glasses off, you may. So the first thing that I'd like to ask you all, and this is really short, and I'm sorry that we're rushing through it, but there's other people who have like really important stuff to say today. So the first thing I want to know is, what did that feel like to you physically? Awful? Awkward? You couldn't focus? Did you have a hard time seeing yeah? Who has a headache? Yeah. Okay, so we had a hard time with our vision. Did you have a hard time bringing the information that's up there in front of you onto your piece of paper? You were annoyed? Yeah, you got annoyed. And we're going to talk about that. So the next set of questions is, how did that feel to you emotionally? Angry. Frustrated. Very angry? Awesome. Anybody else? You felt isolated, like you were the only one who was experiencing that. Very good. Anybody feel anxious? Yeah, anxiety going on there. And finally, who wanted to hit me? Okay, good. The reason that we go through that experience is because is that exactly what it's like for an individual with autism? No. It's going to be really hard for us individuals who are typically developed to really know exactly what it's like. But that's as close as you're going to get. And all of those things are challenges that individuals with an autism spectrum disorder face. And not just autism. I mean, you can talk about other developmental disabilities and delays as well. But really what we want to focus on is the emotion. So you felt what it was like physically, but emotionally, you felt angry, you felt frustrated, you felt isolated, you felt anxious. You're all, I think, pretty well-adjusted grown-ups. You have coping mechanisms. You probably were tapping into those so that you didn't hit me. But folks with a developmental disability or folks with an autism spectrum disorder, they often don't have those coping mechanisms. So they feel angry, they feel frustrated, they feel anxious. They might hit you. And now you understand why. Do you understand why? So when you go back to your classrooms or you go back to your offices and you're working with individuals who have a developmental delay or disability, I want you to tap into how you are feeling, because there are things that you can do to change that experience for them. I didn't have to be yelling at you, and Jason didn't have to be like pointing out all of your flaws, did we? We could have had a little compassion. All right? So the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to put your glasses and your gloves back on. And this is going to be a really fun opportunity for you guys to work in pairs, which our friends with autism spectrum disorders really dislike. They're smarter than you, for the most part, in their mind, and they don't like the way you smell. They don't like your shampoo. They do not like the way you breathe. They don't like the way your foot taps on the floor, and they would prefer to sit alone. So, what I would like for you guys to do, some of you have a bag that inside has beads, and some of you don't. The blue bag should have beads. So you need to partner up. If there's an unequal number, you guys can like work together, or you can move tables. Oh, yeah. When you guys get your glasses and gloves on, Jason's gonna take some pictures. So if you could all friend me on Facebook, that would be awesome, and then I'll tag you. Because you guys look awesome. Really awesome. Awesome! Jamie really needs a picture. So here are your instructions. Do you not have? Okay, glasses, gloves, beads. All right, everybody listen up. No, figuring it out. Okay, glasses and gloves on. Please close your bag of beads and put those back in there. Close up the bag of beads, put your glasses on. So, the person with the bag of beads, when they have their glasses and gloves on, needs to open the bag of beads, and they need to reach in. Oh, people were like, it was bad. Reach in with your thumb and your forefinger, extract one bead. Hand it to your partner. They can take out the string, and I'd like you to string that bead. Please don't rip my bags. Oh, you don't pour it out in your hand. Open the bag, reach in, and extract one bead. Don't use your mouth. I'm sorry, put that back in. You need, no. You need to put that back because you need to reach into the bag and remove the bead. Got it? You poured it into your hand. Good, we've got, I'm sorry. Is that the instructions there? To reach in, did you reach in and get a bead? Okay, all right. Did they get the bag open? Oh, they got a bead out, okay. Oh, drop the bead. So I just would like to draw your attention over here where we have an entire table who has not yet opened their bag. Is that awesome? Good job. You got a bead. Do you need another Diet Pepsi? I think you might. All right, we're getting the string out of the bag. That's great. Has anybody, you still don't have your bag open? Huh. Are you just not wanting to participate, or... Okay. Are you throwing your stuff on the floor? 'Cause really? Okay. I'm sweating too, actually, just so you know. Did we get the beat strung?
My bag ripped.
I saw you rip your bag. And if I didn't like you, you'd be going to the office.
Don't give her a needle. Don't give her a needle.
No, okay, don't get sick.
Don't get, yeah, please.
I would like to remind you all that you were doing this in pre-kindergarten. Oh, you figured it out. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay, if you guys would like to stop, you may. Take off your glasses, take off your gloves. I saw people throwing stuff. That's so awesome. I think I just said we had like functioning adults in the room, and now I've changed my mind. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's talk again about how that felt. What were you feeling? Frustration? Useless. That's a good one. You gave up. Did you feel picked on? I was. Yes, I did. And I did it on purpose, and I'm sorry. Anybody feel just like really mad? I know you did, because you threw your stuff. We had people taking off their glasses, throwing their glasses. Okay. Who? Woo-hoo! Got a bead! That's awesome. You get an extra box lunch. No, really, I don't know if you do or not. So physically, how was that for you? Made you what? You were determined to do it and you did? Good job. Very tense.
You know, I got really hyper-focused on all the noise.
Did you? Well,
Because
just
it was
wait.
just disturbing me from having to deal with that. I just wanted everyone to be quiet so I could focus on that.
Did you guys hear him? He said he was really getting distracted by all the noise and he just wanted everybody to be quiet so he could just focus. So that's a wonderful segue into what we're going to do next. And I really do want to say, and this is really serious, if anyone has an issue with like seizures, I don't think it's going to be an issue in this room because it's pretty big, but we are going to use some strobe lights. So if anybody has an issue with that, you might want to just step out. Not you, Jason. I know you better than that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'd like you to put your glasses back on, but you don't need to put your gloves on. You don't have to. If they're making you sick, don't do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to listen to Jason read us a story. At the end, we're going to ask you a couple questions, okay?
All right. So once upon a time in Japan, long ago, there lived a greedy man and his
So did
greedy
you like
wife.
it? Was it fun?
They never shared anything.
We
they
usually
had.
have other
And
music
they were
on, but
always
for some
watching for
reason, like the
thieves.
CD player won't
One
work.
day while her husband was
So
working in
it's
the
kind of a
fields, the
bummer,
woman went
because
to fill a
usually we're
bucket with
seeing like the
water
wheels on the
from a
bus
large
go round
rain
and round.
barrel.
Do you know that song?
The surface of
Do
the
you want
water
to
was
see
as
it?
smooth as glass
Do you know
and
it?
shiny as a mirror.
It's like,
As the woman looked into the barrel of water, she saw another woman looking back at
round
her.
and round, round and round.
She ran to get her husband and she shouted to him, "Come quickly, a woman is trying to steal our water." Why, at this very minute, she is hiding in our rain
How come
barrel.
your eyes are closed?
The man hurried over to the
Does it
barrel
hurt
and he
your
looked
eyes?
into it just as hard as he could.
Oh, you
But
trying
he
to
did
focus on
not
the
see any
story?
strange women hiding there. No, he saw a strange man hiding in the
okay.
water
Well, sing
barrel.
the wheels on the
The
bus.
thief was clearly staring back at him from deep
bus
inside the
go,
barrel.
swish,
He
swish,
called to his
swish.
wife, "Why?
Swish,
We have a
swish,
pair of
swish.
thieves trying to steal the
Swish,
water from our
swish,
barrel.
the
We
lights
must
is
stop
on
them
the
at
bus.
once.
Go swish, swish,
Come,
swish.
help me, hurry." His wife rushed over the edge of the barrel. At exactly the same
The
moment, both the man and the wife
people on
reached
the
into
bus
the barrel,
say
hoping to take the thieves by
something.
surprise. They reached in so far that they both tumbled right into the barrel. They grabbed and grabbed to catch those thieves, but all they could find to grab was each other. Only once they had climbed out of the enormous barrel, soaking wet
awesome.
through and through, did they realize that no one had been
So,
hiding
did
in
you
here.
like it? Was it good?
So what do you think?
Are you
They had
plugging
really
your
seen.
ears? Are you? She's like plugging her ears. I feel really bad.
All right, time's up.
Okay. So who was that story about? Water out of the barrel? Huh. What story? Usually we have other music going, but we couldn't get the CD. Woo, hello. CD players to work. So that is what our friends who have autism spectrum disorders experience all day long, every day, all the time. That's sensory overload. When you have, oh, it's still playing. That's so cool. I love that song. It's great. But yeah, so I mean, we hear, I think you said earlier about sensory issues. And we hear about sensory issues. Can you talk to me about what you were feeling while that was going on? Were you feeling anxiety? Okay, why were you frustrated? Yes. Depeche Mode, right? 'Cause but there were certain stimuli that you could kind of pick out of that and pay attention to. And what did that do for you? Did it help calm you down a little bit? Yeah. Was anybody doing any kind of self-stimulatory behaviors? Was anybody tapping their foot? What were you doing there, Lisa? Were you rocking? Yeah. Absolutely. And so these are, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That's she was just saying everything was like together, and it wasn't until we started singing that she was able to kind of pick out one thing to focus on. And I think when we see what we consider to be behaviors in the folks that we deal with, they are behaviors, obviously, as my ABA friends would tell me, but they really are ways to cope. And I think you guys might have found yourself using some of those similar strategies today, like getting angry and throwing things and rocking. And so when we talk about trauma, I think, myself included, I've always looked at trauma as being the kinds of things that we talked about earlier today. You know, a physical trauma, a sexual trauma, abuse, neglect. But I think that trauma is intrinsic to individuals who have at least autism and probably other developmental disabilities as well. Just the daily life that they live in their heads that you experienced for the past 20 minutes. I don't know, was that traumatic for you? Was that traumatic for you all? So I think when we think about trauma, it's important to broaden our scope a little bit. And, I think it's easy for us to maybe look at a little one who's had all these things like Terry, was that his name? Went through. That's trauma, but so is life for an individual with autism. And when they get up every day and they go into a classroom and they go to the grocery store and they go to therapy, that's what it's like for them. And that's traumatic. So I think when we talk about trauma-informed responses and trauma-informed care, we need to be thinking about those folks too. And we need to think about ways that we can change the environment to make it less so for them. Just like our speakers before were talking about, there's ways to make an environment more calming. Can do that for individuals with developmental disabilities too. and the ways that you interact. I think when I was getting on your cases about things, that really was escalating people, felt picked on, and that's not fun. You were doing your best. So I think we need to think about that when we deal with this population as well. I would very much like to thank you all for the work that you do with our kids and adults who struggle with a variety of things. It's really important what you guys do, and it's really appreciated, especially by a mom of a child with a developmental disability. I really appreciate each one of your roles in our kids' lives. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sweating. Okay. Thank you all very, very much. I really appreciate it.